Welcome back to the Tide Your Aim Hanger. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the X-Transbots Locke figure. The good, the bad, but not the ugly. This is a very problematic figure, and yes, I did get it at Show Z. I am not faulting Show Z at all on getting a figure that has so many issues. X-Transbots is saying that they will replace everything, any problems, but I'm going to talk today about the good, the bad, and the not so ugly, and we'll talk about all this coming up. Okay, so I'm going to start off by talking about the good points about this figure, do some comparisons, and then I'm going to talk about all the bad points of this figure, and then discuss who's going to be buying this or why people would be buying this after hearing about all these issues. So, getting into it, the first good point about this figure is that he has a lot of accessories. He comes with quite a bit of stuff. And so, I want to show, first off, you can swap out the head, the top of the head, with a flatter look. I already put the round one on, so we're going to see that in a little bit. This is the original top that it had, and then this here is the original face. But I put on the one with the smoking cigar, and I like that one better. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the smoking cigar face. And I think that actually looks really good. And it looks good with the rounded top. I think that is the best route to go. Oddly that they ship it with the kind of squared off top, and I'm not sure why. The rounded top, I think, looks a whole lot better. So that does look pretty good. And there's some paint on the eyes. It looks great. One good thing that they did versus Fans Toys is they molded in the cigar for the cigar smoking face. So it's actually part of the face. It's not going to come off unless you snap it off. So you're not going to lose it. See, most people with their Fans Toys version have lost that cigar. Next up, we've got these other two faces. We'll try to get a good look at these other two faces real quick. And if that zoom, let's get it to look. There it is. He looks kind of like angry. And this is Happy, which you don't see very much Happy Cup. There's Happy Cup. Anyhow, another accessory that it comes with is hands, and these hands are actually pretty cool. Let me see about swapping them. Swapping just one, I guess. And since that is a point that we're going to talk about as a negative right here later on, be very careful when you swap those. So he comes with much, much bigger hands. So looking at the two hands side by side, you can see the difference in size between these hands. Much bigger. I don't know. Some people say that these are more cartoon accurate. So, I don't know. I kind of like the original ones that were on there, but it's still cool you get an extra set of hands. I think it's a good thing. I don't know which ones I like better just yet, and I really think the ones that were on there are ones I like better. But these are kind of shinier, and they feel like they have maybe a coating on it versus the other ones that don't, or more of a matte finish. So you got a couple of different options with that. It also comes with this highly articulated Sharkticon tail. And some people are starting to wonder, does this mean that they have a Sharkticon planned? Because they already have a Sharkticon tail, or is it just an accessory they thought would be cool? Like, it's a lot of work to put into an accessory, especially with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points of articulation on this guy. So that's interesting. Let's plug it in his hand and see what happens. So here it is in his hand. Looks pretty good. You can put it in a slew of different poses, like he's just now swinging it. And yeah, there's a lot you can do with that because it's so articulated, kind of cool. Maybe you want to turn it around so you don't see all the ball joints. Maybe you want to do it to where the ball joints aren't exposed. But yeah, you take your time, set up your display, do whatever you want. Of course, be careful, very careful with this figure. So the next good point here is he comes with 2 target masters, and that is a good point. That's a plus because, accessories are good. Now, all this stuff is to try to hit that $160 price point and do these target masters, add that value to it. I'm not really sure, but it is kind of cool that you get them. But the thing is, target masters never really look like the cartoon in alt mode. I don't know why it's so hard to make a target master, but it is. I guess it's just really hard to make a target master. Now, I don't think this one's transformed correctly right here, and I think that is the hot rod one, not transformed correctly. because somehow you're supposed to turn the handle to the inside. but you'll break it if you do that. So we're looking at these target masters here in just a second. Here's Takara's hot rod holding it, the target master. I never was a fan of this particular hot rod. I actually really do think that their MPO9 is a much better looking figure than this hot rod. I'm surprised with all the 2.0s, Takara hasn't fixed this problem just yet. But there it is. It's kind of a bear to get in his hand. It's a pain, but it holds really well because it really doesn't fit in there. You're cramming it in there. It's a tight fit, and it's scary. I'm probably gonna break it getting it out of here, putting it in and getting it out. But putting that aside, we have this target master right here. So transformation of it, I don't really know. I didn't see anything anywhere about it. My leg keeps falling off with it, but these target masters aren't the best made. So, and they're just a quick afterthought accessory, in my opinion. There's that. Down here, these are supposed to fold around, but you can't. It hits this piece here, unless you want to take that piece out, but there's just no way to get it around it. I'm guessing. So I've got mine upside down. So I've transformed mine, and just in gun mode, it was upside down. So that's that. It's not a bad looking figure in its figure mode. Little articulation on the head, shoulder all the way around. Got ball joint at the elbow. You have waist articulation there. Ab crunch. We can get this guy back up. This leg, once it popped off once, it's just kept popping off over and over. So I'm not liking that. This is hey, we're in the good part. And he has knee articulation to there, and the foot moves a bit. Okay, so now for this guy, I guess this is, you're going to fold these over and then fold these back a bit. So then we just stand them up. And then we sort out this midsection here. Kind of, okay, a piece fell off. I probably need to glue that. That's my fault I didn't glue that. I should have glued that. The shoulder piece. I think I'm out of glue too, so that's a problem. So, okay. Anyhow, there he is. He looks okay. Get a look in here at that paint on the face. It's a nice looking way. It actually looks nice. Head side to side. The arm in the 360 goes out that far. You've got ball joint at the elbow. Of course, you have ab crunch, part of the transformation. Legs on a ball joint, so it does all that stuff. And then, of course, you've got this articulation here, and you have to have the gun face that back part, the back way, so it can have some sort of knee articulation. But there they go. Probably too much time I spent on those. So the next good point about this figure is the fact that he does actually look really good. This is a nice looking representation of Cup, and actually pretty screen accurate, to tell you the truth. We're going to do comparisons to pictures when we get to comparing them to fans' toys, but he does look good overall. He is smooth and clean. The paint looks good. The whole aesthetic looks good. I'm impressed with the look, and him on the shelf, he looks great on the shelf. I love that. I wish he wasn't so problematic, because the look, the aesthetic, he really hits it. Masterpiece look to it. They do it. That's what they do. But X-Transbots has always had great sculpts. They always look good. But now it's problematic. One of the points here, we actually have a solid chest on it, so that looks really good. He does have, so this part here is show accurate, the way they set up this chest, and his shoulders look screen accurate. Not trying to get into the negatives yet, but the abs were my biggest problem. Like, that breakup in the ab looked terrible in pictures. In person, it doesn't really look that bad, so that surprised me. There's some paint right here, but there's kind of a belt buckle breakup. Got a little bit of paint over here. Pretty much the whole thing is painted. If you look at it, if I'm getting the light on it right, you can see the paint glistening off of all of this. Everything is pretty much painted. Maybe these parts aren't, because they're part of the transformation, like that paint would ship, but again, it does kind of look painted. Just everything looks painted head to toe, which is, of course, how they can charge the premium price in their minds because it's painted so well. But getting into it, let's go ahead and start with the negatives. So the first negative with this figure is the fact that if you transform it, you're going to break it. If you are one of the few lucky ones that don't break it, then you're going to scratch up your paint. It's impossible to go through this transformation without scratching up the paint because it's painted everywhere and it is quite an involved transformation. I'm not going to mess mine up, and that's all there's to it. I got one that's not broken. Some people are getting theirs broken out of the box, and we're going to talk about it from head to toe, what goes on with this while we do the articulation. So, head goes side to side, up, down, and so that's all good. Now, this back piece here, some people can get theirs to tab in. I cannot get mine to tab in, and I don't want to try to force it. It doesn't really matter because just sitting like this, I've never had a problem with it, but you can tell that it's supposed to tab in, and mine, I can't get it to tab in. No matter how much I mess with it, but I'm not going to put too much force on it because we know it is indeed a problematic figure. Shoulders go out to the 90, and we can rotate them all the way around, and the way those work, they work well. I don't have any scratching yet. You also have a bicep swivel, which is extremely tight, and a double jointed elbow that you can get quite a bit of range with that double jointed elbow. So that does work. So for an action figure, it's doing okay so far. This wrist piece does not tab in well, so it's constantly coming out. So that's a negative. But if for whatever reason you want to have him do that, it's part of the transformation. So that's all there's to it. Try to get it locked in, I just can't. Now the hands open way up like this so you can put the guns in or the weapons and accessories in, and then you have a hinge here and a hinge here, and you also have a trigger finger on both hands. So that's kind of cool. You can see the trigger finger. Oh, got you to look. You looked. Okay, anyway, that wasn't intended. And you can, of course, move them around, and you can pop them off and swap them. And I would advise not to do that too much because eventually they won't hold on with tolerance changing with all the paint and all that stuff. So getting in here, you do have waist swivel, and you have an extreme ab crunch. Now, this is where you get into another serious negative with the figure. These people, I haven't seen anyone break this yet, but with the Motor Master, a lot of people broke their Motor Master right there. And it's the same exact issue. It's all hinging on one part. Now, it looks like it's a little bit more reinforced there than with Motor Master, but this breaks up the sculpt, so as an ab crunch, not really effective. You can sort of keep it at a certain level, but if you move them too much, it will flop down. So that's an issue right there. A lot of people don't like the butt flaps, but the butt flaps themselves, if they didn't have the butt flaps there the way they did it, he looks super skinny, no butt man. So I guess it does give him correct proportions, like a humanoid proportions there. Getting down to the legs, you do have this universal here, but one problem is this keeps sliding out on me, and I'm hearing the other side, if it's not sliding out on me, but this other side is the one that people are breaking. So one slides out too easy, the other one doesn't slide hardly at all, and you may break it in the transformation when you slide this side. So problematic, man, problematic. Pulling up these flaps here, let's kind of see how far out we can go. Now this is just tensioned, so that can be an issue. And then that has a ratchet you could hear, and I wouldn't go too much further than that, but you can go pretty far to the back with it, so not bad there. One thing I did not mention in the good points is he has a bit of weight to him. So he has die cast, you can feel it in there. I'm feeling it on this lower area right here. He's got some weight. Now for the knees, you have to hold here and here to bend the knees, and they're really, really tight. It almost feels like it is ratcheted in there, but I'm not hearing a ratchet, but you can see right there that it's a bit of a ratcheting mechanism. So it's tight. But if you don't hold it at the knee and you try to bend the knee, it's just the whole leg's gonna fall apart. You don't want to do that. So challenging. Okay, getting down into the feet. Oh man, it just fell off on me. Okay, this just fell off on me. I was thinking I was one of the few that nothing was broken on it. So it's just glue. It's not the end of the world. I'll have to go get me some more glue and glue it back on, but darn it. I was being super careful too. All right, anyway, moving the foot, knock that piece off. Imagine what all would fall off or break if I transformed this thing. So the foot goes all the way down to here. And then it rocks. The whole tone's going to change now that something fell off of it, I got to tell you. Okay, so one more thing that people are reporting issues on inside here. This, okay, where this piece that's going to be the front, kind of the front bumper or front fin, it's a front quarter panel fin type piece. This screw comes out of one of these. So one of them is usually too tight, one of them's too loose. So if you loosen up the one that seems too tight, you should be able to get through it just fine. But it's pulling out a piece that is seated into a metal piece. So it's like a plastic piece that seats in there that comes out. Now you could probably just glue that plastic piece back in if it comes out. I don't know, and I'm not going to risk it. Oh, man, so many issues, so little time. Okay, so looking at these two side by side, which one of these, do you like the aesthetic of better? That's kind of the comparison between them. Fans Toys beats it hands down, solid quality wise. So if you've got the Fans Toys one, it's going to be way more solid. But which one matches the cartoon aesthetic better? And that's the big question here. So putting up this still from the cartoon side by side, I really think X-Transbots does match the cartoon a whole lot better. But I've been looking at the Coot for so long on my shelf, that changed my mind of what I thought Cup looks like. And going back to the animation, I admit I do think X-Transbots matches the animation better. But is that something that you really want? Would you rather just have the Fans Toys? Or would you want something like this? And again, at the end, I'm going to tell you who's going to be buying this. Okay, comparing them side by side, the pluses and minuses of everything. First off, at the top, I think both of them do a great head sculpt. Some people try to say Fans Toys is better. Fans Toys does really amazing face sculpts, head sculpts. They really do a great job with that. I do like the lesser of a backpack. I think that's more accurate. Fans Toys has a massive backpack. And I don't care about backpacks, except for the fact that when you can see it from the front, it does kind of, it's a little off-putting. Next, we have the chest. So this wins in the chest area. Right here, the chest on the Fans Toys is a little line in the middle, which is not accurate, and that has bothered a lot of people. Plus, as you can see, I put my symbol on. I haven't been putting symbols on lately, but put my symbol on him. I didn't bother cutting it because there's no reason for me to have to cut that thing. So I like a nice symbol right there. Obviously, you can put a symbol on this guy, and it'll carry over into the transformation if you're brave. And going down, I do like on the Fans Toys the abs. I think the ab section looks really good here. The breakup, it's not great, but it's not as bad as I thought it'd be. But still, it's better on the Fans Toys. But proportion, is the chest supposed to be that big, or should the chest be smaller like that one? I just like the look of the translucent better. I don't know, like what's more accurate? Well, this is obviously more toon accurate. This is more something to give it a real world flair. Fans Toys does that kind of stuff. And getting down to the lower legs, I think both the lower legs do well. I kind of like how Fans Toys did their lower legs better, although I think this is a little bit more accurate. So we're kind of splitting hairs there. Okay, from the side, there we go. And I think it's cleaner from the side. There's more going on with the side of the lower legs to make the front look cleaner, or more narrow, technically. And here, it looks better on the side, I would guess you could say. Let's move that up here so we can see that a little bit better. The backpack's huge, backpack's better. The arms both look okay to me. So, I mean, it looks fine. And from the back, I do think X-Transbots wins. This is a win in the back, mostly because of the backpack. And even the butt flap thing, it's kind of an eyesore. I mean, it's not that bad. Oh, there it goes. So here he is with a mix of different companies and different setup here. So this is Fans Toys, Fans Toys, Fans Toys, Takara, and the good old Ollie from X-Transbots, version 3. So yeah, it looks pretty good. He looks great in a display. If he's on your shelf displayed, he's going to look amazing, especially if you can line up that came undone just moving him over there. But still, if you can overcome these issues, he's going to look okay. There's the same display again with the Fans Toys Coot. Again, aesthetically, it's up to you which one you like better. But the Coot is more solid, will survive the transformation, not get as scratched up. But which one do you like this of the most is really what this comes down to. So this has been my look at Cup, the good, the bad, but the not so ugly. I hope you guys got a little bit out of this, and who would spend a serious amount of money on a figure with a lot of known problems and known issues. I think the fact that it's already pretty expensive, $160, and it's got a lot of issues, and there's a lot of them that haven't sold. Hopefully when you open yours, it's not broken upon opening. Hopefully you get to break it yourself, but you know what you're getting into. If you buy this thing, I got mine at Show Z. You could get yours there too. If you do buy it, X-Transbots says they'll fix it, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.